I think we are living through one of the biggest changes right now. We have had the diesel engine as the core and the ability that we had around that, and with the change that we see, particularly driven out of sustainability, is really a game changer for us in the industry. What we are doing right now is that we are driving this through 2-3 pillars. That's really that we say that we need to create customer success for the future, but it has also to be done with the sustainability. We need to be good citizens, and we need to create the world we would like our kids and ourselves to live in.
Welcome to the Shipping Podcast, where I meet interesting maritime professionals sharing their passion for the shipping industry and their everyday job. I am your host. My name is Lena Gothberg. Hello and welcome to episode 204 of the Shipping Podcast. The guest in this episode has been on my target list for quite a while now. She's passionate about change, she believes in collaboration, and she's a true leader. I came to know Heléne Mellquist when she was the CEO of Rederi AB Transatlantic, which at the time was a prominent shipowner in Sweden, who willingly lent me an office when I was the Secretary General of the Institute of Shipping Analysis. She went back to the Volvo Group, where her career started in 1988, and today she's the president of Volvo Penta. I hope you will enjoy my conversation with Heléne. One of my takeaways from this meeting is the word inclusiveness, but there is so much more. This is Heléne Mellquist for you. Welcome to the Shipping Podcast. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Heléne Mellquist, and I am the president of Volvo Penta.
And what is your background?
My background? How far should I go?
Well, as far as you want.
No, let's start where I am right now. I'm what I normally call a West Coast package. You know, people that live in Gothenburg, we love the sea, so I live by the sea. I have a summer cottage by the sea as well. I love skiing during the winter. I love sailing. I love being out in my motorboat with the Volvo Penta engine. Socially, I frequent a lot with my family. My 2 sons, they are 25 and 22, and also my husband. And we've been together. I was 19 when we met, so we have a long time together. So, and we love our houses and do a lot of things together, and also have a lot of friends around as well that I enjoy. So that's my background, or actually who I am today. But then I come from the forest. So that's why it's so good at Penta here, because we say at sea and on land. And I really come from the forest. We had a forest farm when I was small. My family were running it, my father and mother. My brother has it today, but he has also a regular job as well, because you can't sustain on that only today. You could that when my father was, when we were younger then. So I was sitting on my father's lap from 2 years old, negotiating wood prices. So the whole business came in very early into my life, which has always followed me in that way.
And what is your education?
Well, I was very general. So I started in the high school. I went to nature science and I wanted to do everything. But then I was really into that. I loved the business. So I took a marketing and sales training. That was very interesting, and I really loved it. That was here in Gothenburg. So I moved from the forest to here then. And then after that, somebody told me that you must go international. So I went to France to study French, and then I studied French literature. And I did that for a year in France, in the Sorbonne, also at the university. I came back in Gothenburg and also took the degrees here for 1 year at the university in French. And I wanted to be a translator. But then I realized that being that would take 10 years. And I was thinking, I can't do this for 10 years with my business mind that I must make business out of it. So that took too long time. Then I went back to my business training, and then I took a bachelor then here at the Gothenburg University in business administration. And I focused a lot on financials, of course, and business control and those subjects. So then I stopped there, and then I came into Volvo. And then it has been an ongoing education since I started here.
I see. How did you come in contact with the maritime industry?
That was actually when Transatlantic started to talk to me because they were looking for a CFO. And that's how I got in contact with it. So, in 2012, I started as a CFO for Transatlantic. That was one of the biggest shipping companies in Sweden at the time. And then just a couple of months afterwards, I became the CEO. So that's how I came into it.
And now you're back. You're maybe maritime.
I think I'm very maritime as well. The ships are not that big. But we actually do a lot of marine commercial as well, where you can see then on the crew vessels, the pilots, the coast guards. That's where we are present. And I think that Volvo Penta, we have a really good role to play there with our technical solutions that we have with our pods, the IPS, and also with the sustainability solutions as well in the future. So we are not only semi. And then we have the whole marine leisure, of course, that most people think about when they think about us.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking that you have a perspective because you're part of the big Volvo Group, which is trucks and buses and heavy machinery. I don't know.
No, that's true.
Yeah. And then you're part of that.
Yes.
Compared to ship owners or suppliers, they are usually not part of a bigger group.
No.
So you got a different perspective, or I have thought about it like that anyhow.
It's true, because we are a smaller company within the big group. So I normally say that we are a group in the group, and that's also how we are managed. Nevertheless, we have the full capability of the big group, so we are scouting and hunting for the good solutions in the big group. Then we take them, we tweak them a bit, and then we find good applications for our customers that we have. So then we tweak them, as I said. What could you say? We put a bit of engineering and some service around it and make a total offer around it, and then offer it to our customers in our range then. So I think it's good to be part of the group because of that, but it's also still we have the feeling and the warm family feeling in Volvo Penta that we are family also here. And we have our own brand, which is Volvo Penta. That is very important.
So what does Penta mean?
Oh, you know the Pentagon. 5, of course, yes.
So why did they choose 5?
I don't know. Do you know?
No, I don't. I better find out.
I better find out. I never thought about it. Penta is older than Volvo.
Uh-huh.
So Penta was founded in Skövde and bought by Volvo also after a couple of years there. So we are actually older. So the foundry up in Skövde is the Penta foundry that was there where we made the first engines. So it has a long history.
But I'm also thinking that, engines on trucks and buses and so on, that's on land engines. And you have been already, or not you, but Volvo and other car manufacturers have already been through what we are going through now in the maritime industry when it comes to sustainability, alternative fuels, electrification, all of that. Yeah. So you must benefit from that.
And that's what I mean. We have all the fantastic solutions that we have in the group, because some of them, on the electrification, for example, the buses started out first. Then we had the truck side, and then the construction equipment and us. We are approximately at the same timing. So that's good where you can see where you have well-proven solutions, because it's not only the hardware, it's also the complete offer that you have around an electrified solution. So that's what we do. We take what's there and we change it. But I must also say, before we go too long into that, because Volvo Penta is not only the maritime, because we say at sea, on land. It's because we are two different. So, and it's actually unit-wise, we are 50-50 right now. So we have the marine commercial, where we have then the coast guards and the crew vessels and so on. The marine leisure, where we then have from, you could say 20 feet up to 120 feet where we are supplying. And then you have the other side, which is the industrial. And then we have construction, we have mining trucks, we have forestry, special vehicles. So there's a lot of things everywhere where you can have a diesel engine. And then you have a very important part, which is nowadays, the demand is huge actually, that's the gensets. That is where you put a diesel engine and that on a rock concert or on a construction site or standby at a hospital, you generate electricity then. So we have a quite broad and rich portfolio of different type of applications. And going back to what you said then, it's fantastic to have the Volvo Group then, because to pick for these different applications and optimize the offer for these guys, our customers out there, and secure their success. That is really what we are burning for.
Mm. So what about the clients? You are giving them an offer. Is that a difference when you gave offers to the clients in the maritime industry, or is it the same?
No, it's different.
Please explain how is that different?
Yeah, because it's... in the marine leisure side, for example, we are selling dreams. Sometimes you say that nobody needs a boat. And I think that's a bit to be humble, because it's also we need to make it as good and easy actually to get out of the sea and also enjoy everything what's there. And should you think about what engine you have, you should just be happy that it works and it's from helm to prop. So all the things that you have in front of you, the information system, and also the pods, the maneuverability, the assisted docking. You should easily go in and you can fill up your boat very easily. You can get smooth in by the place at the bridge with the assisted docking and those things that we have, autonomous then. So I mean, that's a complete different offer when you are selling a dream or a nice leisure or an experience in that way. Then you go to marine commercial, I would say, together with the other applications. There we think more about uptime, productivity, total cost of ownership, life cycle cost, and those things. And there we are more like the rest of the group, because that is actually what they are selling as well. So there's a different tone depending on if we are what kind of customers we are talking to.
Can you ever mix them, or can you snatch things from the other side?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
You know, we're passionate maritime people. We always dream about the future and the sea and everything else, I think. Yeah, but I'm also thinking about in transport, you talk about mobility. It's another word than what you use in the maritime industry, in the big commercial maritime industry. So how can we adopt that into the maritime industry, the mobility way of thinking?
I think mobility actually includes also the maritime, not only at land, it's also what you have at sea. I see mobility as systems. It's like an ecosystem where everybody works together, and to make it as efficient, as sustainable, and also as productive as possible for all that are in that system. So I think there you have a lot to think about in the same way. They are the same drivers. I mean, everybody wants revenues. Everybody wants to provide value to the customer so you can increase prices and get even more. You want to dress that with the hard product, with the services and the digital solutions and so on as well, to make it even more valuable for the customer, more share of the wallet. And I mean, that's the same drivers.
I'm thinking about the average ship owner has maybe 10 ships. So where will they fit into this ecosystem thinking?
Yeah, but of course, I mean, if you have something that will be transported from A to B, you know that there will also always be a shipping in between. To be then, if you buy that, of course, the shipping is extremely important. And you know, I mean, 90% of everything what we buy comes from the sea, so it has been transported somehow. So I think it's really self-evident that it's part of that.
I just wanted to hear it from you. I'm preaching.
No, and then you should also hear it from me that it's also that self-evident that it's part of the mobility. It's a transport system, yes.
Yeah. So what are the biggest changes that you have seen during your career?
I think we are living through one of the biggest changes right now. We have had the diesel engine as the core and the ability that we had around that, and with the change that we see, particularly driven out of sustainability, is really a game changer for us in the industry. What we are doing right now is that we are driving this through 2-3 pillars. That's really that we say that we need to create customer success for the future, but it has also to be done with the sustainability. We need to be good citizens, and we need to create the world we would like our kids and ourselves to live in. And that is not how it used to be. We need to push very much customer success and the profitability, but now we also start measuring the sustainability part of our future as well. So that is a complete game changer for me personally, but also for the industry as such. And for me, it's fantastic that I have the opportunity to be part of this, and also together with the entire team at Volvo Penta to drive such a change. And I really think that we are making history every day nowadays when we're here, and that feels so. I'm very proud of doing that, and I'm proud together with my team that we are able to do that. But then it should be done in a business way also. So that's why you need to have the customer success there. So Volvo, we are working on the sustainability side, if you talk on the hardware side, on 3 different work streams. And this is also where it's fun, because we are really high tech now. I mean, we have the battery electric solutions. They come first. You see them on the truck side, for example, and now we are also getting more and more of those solutions. Then we have the fuel cell. That will come a bit later. That will come 28, a bit in 2030 and going ahead, because that technology is not that mature yet. And we have a collaboration now with Daimler, which is then called cell-centric, which is also something which I've never seen before. We are collaborating with our enemies or our competitors to do this. It's fantastic. And then we have the third work stream, that is that we see that the combustion engine will still have a solution or still be available in the future. And then we will talk about alternative fuels. HVO is already there today. I know that you in the big maritime are talking about a lot about methanol and ammoniac and others. And you also have hydrogen, of course, as another solution as well. So the hardware, I think there are 3 very important. And I'm so happy to be part of a Volvo Group that can afford actually to invest in all 3 at the same time. And that's quite a strength, I must say.
I get happy when I hear you.
Yeah, I'm glad, because so am I.
Where are we making progress in the big maritime industry? Do you see any changes there from your horizon?
I do a lot. I mean, there'll be so, like, you see the Sol, for example, or the Wallenius Sol collaboration, which is one. You see also Wallenius has also made other. I also heard one of the companies up in Norway that they wanted to talk to me about ammoniac, for example, ammonium. Then also, I see what Stena is doing. I'm so happy they do so many risk projects that I really love, that they can afford and have the ability to do that. So there's so many things going on, and I'm really happy and proud, because they are leading this now. And I see that, I'm not sure here, because here I don't have the facts, but maybe you have, Lena, because it is really the Nordic companies that are leading this change.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah. And I also feel proud to be a Swede, because there are so many projects going on.
Yes.
In the industry. As you said, the Wallenius thing, the Ocean Bird, and all the stuff that Stena is doing. But also, I mean, on the supplier side, look at Lean Marine and iTech and all of those different, companies that just were born here.
Exactly, and it's also that we kept such a good cluster of suppliers here, and also in the entire ecosystem, that are so leading in many of these technologies. It's impressive. It's really good.
Yes, it is. I just want more people to know about it.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's really true. And another change is, of course, the digitalization, which is combined with this is huge, but also what kind of services that we can provide in the future. Here we are getting there, I would say, with the connectivity, and also that you can be proactive in your uptime. You can also, in the productivity that we talked about earlier, And it's also on the leisure side, where you can provide so many things for you during your free time as well. You can put on your refrigerator from at home in your boat, so it's cold when you come with all your groceries in the Friday evening and so on. So there's so many small things, but that brings a value to our normal life.
I saw that you have an innovation hub.
Yes.
So what is happening there? And how do people, is everyone welcome there? Or?
So we have several, because innovation is a core of Volvo Penta. And it has been, in particular on the drive side, but also on others. This is a company that's always been full of new ideas on the technology side. And we are continuing that. It's like the IPSs. I mean, nobody has managed to copy them. Somebody has tried as competitors, but they're not really.
So what is the IPS?
The IPS is it's a pod that is, you can have either 2 installations, 3 or 4 installations underneath. And the propellers are actually sucking, so it's dragging the boat forward. And then they also move when you are turning. They are also turning, so the maneuverability is extremely efficient. And then on top of that, the energy use, because of that, is 30% less than any normal engine. So it's a really good, efficient solution for boats then up to 120 feet, somewhere there. That was invented like 10 years ago or something like that, but we are continuing to develop that and now putting on the assisted docking on that, which is fantastic. And I think that we will continue on that package as well. Innovation Hub, we have several. We have, for example, one company that we own, which is called CPAC. We drive it as one independent company. It's 100% owned by us. They go to a customer, and then they say the customer presents them an opportunity or a challenge or something, and the engineers directly, they program a solution. And it's very often not so much hardware involved, could be, but it's very often a software solution. They are tremendous on that. That's one way how we're doing it. Then we also have our advanced technology department here, which are always making things happening they have lots of secret stuff in there. Sometimes they let me in, and I always see these great things that we are trying out, and the engineers that are working there are fantastic. Then we also have, for example, we have the CampX that we're also using. That we even doing things like we are doing startups. So we have a startup that you find an idea, but we do not have the possibility, or so then you find another partner that can capitalize it, and then we do spin-offs there. That's really nice, also a way to do it. So that we have several islands doing like that, and I think that's the whole thing behind innovation. You need to try a bit everywhere, and then I must say the entire company is also working like that. Continuous improvements, continuous innovation as well. That's a culture rather than a hub.
Yes, I totally agree. Then we need to talk about inclusion and diversity. I mean, that's also a trend in a way. But yeah, I don't know if I should ask you if you have ever felt not included in your...
Of course, that happens to everybody, everywhere. So that's also, but after a while, and you also know that, Lena, after a while when you get so experienced, you don't think about it any longer. You just live with it. Maybe that's not good.
No.
But I think also that there has been a huge change in the industry the last 10 years. For me, it's completely different to come back also here to Volvo Group. It has changed a lot. And the way that we work and how we also see upon inclusiveness. We don't talk so much about diversity any longer. We talk about inclusiveness. We have 3 themes that we talk about when we are developing our culture now. It is, of course, inclusiveness for success, because you need to make the best out of everybody that are here. It's so important because, I mean, whatever you come from, different backgrounds, different geographic, different religion, different gender, everything. And if you stop looking at your prejudice that you have, I also have that. So everybody needs to work with that. But if you can get the best out of the team and also have everybody around, then you get the best. Then you have grow to win, because since we are making these technology change, is also that we need to upskill, reskill, and also acquire new technologies and so on. And here's very much up. We work with the individual as well. I spent so much time, and I've done that the last years now, studying new technologies, new ways of working, because nothing is as it used to be. So I need to put myself on that, and so does everyone else as well. And I think that's an individual responsibility. So we have also this learning page where you can also use the Volvo Group University and find different trainings in different subjects. But we also do that without external sources as well. And we acquire companies, like we bought Zem, which is a battery company in Norway, for example. And then we have the last one, which is also the most, maybe sometimes the most important, that is courage to transform. You need to have courage with this because, I mean, you could actually wait or go somewhere else and not do anything, look the other side and continue to do what you are actually doing quite successfully. And that is the thing, when you have a successful company like Volvo Penta, we can continue to be very successful. We do not have to change the coming years. But if we should be here, have a going concern, and if we should be successful in a couple of years, then we really need to change. And then we need to have the courage also to fail a bit, not be as successful maybe, but then also to find the new business models and the new customers and the new way of working. And that's courage. So those are the three.
I hope many people are listening to this episode. Yes, you need courage. And to me, that is also branding towards the next generation.
Yes.
Because we need to recruit the best people to this industry.
Yeah.
And we can't do that unless we do what you just said.
No.
Have some courage.
No, definitely not. Really. And it's also, I mean, I know that you, Lena, has struggled many years for attracting young people to the marine industry. And I think how we're changing now, we also high-tech companies. And we also we talk a lot about employee branding, and that's a bit, but it is important. And that you also you need to fill it also with true content. And I think nowadays we can actually do that also to attract younger generation with new skills. Because with this that I talked about, inclusiveness, you to grow to win, and also the courage, all of that is actually part of that taking in new skills, mix it with the old business knowledge that we have, then we can leverage really well.
I also think that, if I can call them the Greta generation, is expecting us to do that.
Yes.
Otherwise, they will not choose us or you as an employer.
Definitely. We get so many questions around sustainability for the newcomers. And this is the way of measuring them, that you measure the financial performance, but you also measure the sustainability part. So you can show true proof points and that we're actually doing and putting a lot in investments in this. And that is also why people are attracted coming here now, because they see that we are doing a true change.
How do you measure it?
We measure it in a couple of ways. I mean, we have the normal taxonomy that everybody else has, and I think it's good. It's a bit cumbersome and a bit administrative to get started, but I think the mains in there are good. Then we also have the science-based target. We are one of the companies that have committed to the science-based target. The Volvo Group has done it as well, but we at Volvo Penta, we choose to have our own targets within that. So we have also officially communicated that we will reduce our CO2 footprint to 40% by 2034. And we are measuring that and making scenarios towards the 2034, but also measuring every quarter, every month, how we're actually doing on that. And I think that's a way also to we see also how we are changing this, and also the investments that we are making, how they will actually influence in the future, and how we are driving the business toward that. So that's a couple of them. And I think this area, we will only continue to find more KPIs, because you also have human rights, you have recyclability as well, all those things. So this area will only grow the coming years. So if somebody wants to make a research, choose those areas, because a lot of people will be needed.
How do you see the future?
Oh, so bright. No, I mean, there's so many good things that we can actually influence ourselves and that we can change to a better world. And I'm not one of them that look back and see that it was better before, because I don't think it was. I think it was a much harder world to live in. We are fed daily with these news from the geopolitical point of view, and also the sad things that are happening in front of us or around us. And that's not good, of course. We need to, and those are there to change and also to find solutions. That is good about it. But I think on a general level, we are much better off now than what we used to be. And the future also looks brighter in that way.
I hope you're right.
But we can actually make it right.
I know. I know. Let's work together to do that. Thank you very much for being a guest on my podcast. I wanted to know, who do you think I should interview the next?
Oh, Lena, thank you very much for having me, though. I'm very honored to be part of this, I know. So it's so special. Next, who could that be? Somebody from Volvo, if I would. That is actually going to Volvo Penta, and she's going to take up a position here. But the position she has right now, she's in logistics. She's buying all the different transports for Volvo globally. And she also is doing a new company within that, and as a startup called Longevity, which is then working on the sustainable sharing. They have an auction for sharing, because you're not optimizing the load fill. So that Volvo is starting such a company under her supervision then. And she's also part of one of Mikael's boards. Her name is Charlotte Hakegård. And she's not known at all to the maritime business, but she's buying so much from Maersk, from MSC, and also from all over.
Yeah, I would love to talk to her if I can.
Yes. And she's also sits in the core also with the change of the sustainability also, and how that will transform.
I would be happy to do that. Okay, so thank you for taking the time to speak to me.
Thank you very much, Lena. I enjoy doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Heléne. I'm proud to have you as a guest on the Shipping Podcast. There are so many good things to pick up from our conversation, and I really hope my listeners do. For the curious ones who haven't had the time yet to read up on the history of Volvo Penta, you can do that on their website. Penta, the Greek word for 5, was chosen because of the 5 men attending the meeting when the first drawings of the first engine, B1, was presented. So this is the last episode of the Shipping Podcast 2022. I've also released 26 episodes this year, and I have enjoyed all the conversations. I can see from the number of downloads around the globe that the Shipping Podcast is gaining more and more listeners, which makes me very happy. Thank you for listening. Until the next year, from me to you, over and out. Thank you for listening to the Shipping Podcast. Don't forget to tell everyone that you meet that there is a Shipping Podcast available, and that they should download it and listen to the maritime professionals who are sharing their passion for the shipping industry.